Alright everybody, so I've got a 2012 F150 right here. There's supposed to be the beeping that we're all familiar with when the key's in and the door's on. I wiggle the key around. Sometimes I get it, sometimes I don't. I usually don't, so I wanted to fix that. I'm going to show you guys how to do it. First things first though, you want to disconnect the negative terminal on the battery, so I'm going to do that right quick here. Okay, so battery's disconnected. We'll just put the key in, make sure. Got nothing. Good. Fabulous. Alright, so now we got to take this little piece right here off, this thing right here. So this lets your vehicle know what position the key is in. It's also part of the passive theft system. So it's really easy to pop off. It doesn't really take much. You just want to, whatever, just like that. Okay, and then here's your lock cylinder right there. It actually comes out pretty easy, although you have to have the key in it. Okay, and it's got to be just on, not all the way on, just on. Okay, there is a little hole on the bottom, see that right there? You got to put whatever you have handy into that. Okay, and just give that a push. If your key's in the right position, it'll come out no problem. Okay, just like that. Okay, so that's what I got. So it looks like inside. Nothing too exciting. All right, here. So you got to replace this whole thing that the key is inside of, and that was been one heck of a process to figure out exactly how to do that. These lock key cylinders are super easy to get. You can get them from a doorman, or you just go to your Ford dealership and they'll give you one as well. But the trick is, you want a key. You want to have this coded for your key, so you're not gonna have to have a separate key for your ignition, and then you gotta get a transponder and all that. So it's not worth it. So you got to code your new one to your original key. Okay, so I'll show you the trick on how to do that as well. Okay, so once you get your lock cylinder out of your vehicle, you want to go inside to your table, or maybe to a bench or something where you can work. There's some really small pieces that you're going to be dealing with. Okay, so here's the piece that you get out of your truck. If you're using a doorman system, they give you a really cool tool. Stick this in here like that. It only seats all the way down like this one way. If you go the other way, it doesn't go all the way down. Okay, so it's got to go all the way down. Okay, so then the doorman instructions tell you to just put your key in just a little bit, give it a twist. Okay, and then that is supposed to allow you to pull this out. Well, the problem is it doesn't allow you to pull this out, and I'll tell you why really quick. It's because when you look at the piece that the doorman gives you like this, it has this little channel right here that is not on the manufactured one from the factory here. So that's a problem, because it should just come out like that. Okay, and then all your tumblers would be in this right here, and then doorman tells you to just pull out your tumblers one at a time, starting with number 8. By the way, this side right here, not the key side, opposite to the key side would be number 8. Okay, so 8, then 7, then 6, then 5, then 4, then 3, and then there's a gap here for 2, and then 1. Okay, you want to just pull those out, keep a record of what they are so you can put them back in for your new one if your key had that. So if your original one could do that, no problem. Mine can't. That was a problem. Okay, I need to know what the tumbler code is so that I can recode my new one, because you get the tumblers to do it. So I called the technician for doorman, and they said to go talk to my dealer to get my key code from my dealer. So I went to the dealer, got the key code from the dealer. The dealer gave me the key code. It was 4 digits, 4 numbers, and then a letter. That's not a tumbler code. So that was really frustrating. So I called back to doorman, and they said they didn't know what to tell me, because it should be 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5. That's not what I had at all. So I went back to the dealer, and they told me that, yeah, I got the right key code for sure. There's absolutely no problem or no confusion there. So then I just went and talked to their parts guy, and he said, well, we can sell you a lock cylinder right from us, and you have your Ford warranty or whatever. So I did, and actually what makes theirs better is their instruction manual. So if you look at the doorman instruction manual, okay, they tell you that you could either have that style or this style for your lock cylinder design. You have this one if you are a F150, or at least a 2012 F150. That's my case, but it doesn't have from the one that, at least mine, didn't have this little channel right here to pull the tumblers out. So let me compare that to the Ford one. Alright, so they tell you that, here's your instructions, this is what you got to do. They tell you that the key code is actually the key cut depth, and each depth, depth is assigned a key code. That's what they mean, okay? And so there's other ways you can get that. Obviously the dealer could have just given me the code, but I don't know if they just didn't get what I was trying to do. It was pretty clear. Whatever. Anyways, the other way that you can do it, which is the way that I think most people would if you're not at a dealership, is that you use this chart. Okay, so this chart tells you that there are 8 stations, okay, for 8 tumblers. Each of these stations has a specific cut depth, okay, and that cut depth correlates to the key code. So here's the depth code. So here's your depth codes. So a number 1 depth code is about 9 millimeters. Okay, number 2 depth code is 7.72 millimeters. All right. So, and then all of these stations are a certain number of millimeters from the end of the key. Okay. So station number 8 is about 5 millimeters from the edge of the key. So you don't even need a precision tool for this. Okay. You just get a ruler like I did. I got a ruler and I took my key and I just did my measures. Okay. I figured out whatever 5 mils was, and then I more or less just kind of eyeballed it. It was close enough, and I was able to get my code. So I got my actual depth code. Okay, so now that I got my depth code, you can recode your new cylinder. All right, so you take out this piece. By the way, this is exactly what Ford will give you when you go and get a lock cylinder from them. It looks the exact same as this. Okay, so it's really not that different. Okay, so now you want to rekey, or I guess recode this lock cylinder right here. So there's these little tiny circle holes, and what you got to do is get these little tiny springs. They're just itty bitty little things. Okay, that goes inside the hole. Now remember that this is station 8, right? Because it's the opposite end of where the key goes in on this side. So this is station 8. So put your little spring inside there, okay? And then my key specifically said that I needed a tumbler number 2. So all your tumblers have a little number on them, and it's kind of hard to see. Kind of see the number 2, okay? So my number 2. Now this protrusion right here, that just goes like this, okay, and just kind of find its way in there, all right, and then the spring keeps it popped out, which is what you want. Okay, now with every one that I put in, I wanted to make sure I tested it, so I put my key in, okay, and then it is looking good. All right, so there's a little tiny bit that's popped up right here. That's fine. You can squeeze it down and it's flush with the surface, so not a problem. Okay, so I only just have the one spring left over because I already did this with the Ford lock cylinder, but I'll kind of show you a little bit more of where you want to do. So you just keep going. So my next one calls for a number 1, so I would have had a spring and I'd put the spring inside there, so then I'll put in my number 1, so there's my number 1, alright. Okay, without the spring it doesn't actually stay in there super well, so there's my number 1. The next one would have been, for me, in position number 6, would have been a number 3, so here's my number 3 right here, okay, so that is that. That should fit in. Oh, see, you can only do it one way. I had it upside down right there. So there we go. It's pretty well foolproof. You really can't do it wrong. Okay, alright, so then I'm going to put my key back in just to show you that it's the right one. So when you have your key in, they're all flush. Okay, so that is correctly coded. Alright, but let's say that you messed it up or something, and let's say, I don't know, we'll take out my number 7 position that was coded for number 1, and let's say that I'll put in a number 4, which is this one right here. So here's the number 4, would go in just like that. Okay, here's my key test. Okay, it sticks up a whole bunch, so that's the wrong tumbler for this key. That's not correctly coded. So pretty easy, just make sure you have all the right tumblers in there, and then once you have them all in, you want to grease the outside of the cylinder here of your tumblers, and they give you a little bit of grease to do that with. It's just this little thing right here, so you want to just kind of go all over the outside of it. Pretty simple. And then when you're ready, you just put it right into this cylinder right here. Piece of cake. Okay, so let's just I'll leave the one in there for now. So I'll put it in like that. Okay, you would have had to work in all of these tumblers as you went, so I'll put in this last one. Okay, so there we go, all the way down. Alright, so I put my key. Oh, it's got to be lined up right so it doesn't come out. Okay, when you turn it, you can hear it kind of click. So this is just the one tumbler on there, and it is holding in place with just the one tumbler. Okay, you can test it. You want to test it before you actually put it back in your truck, just to make sure that it goes like it's supposed to. Okay, if something doesn't work right, if you have a doorman lock, you can just use their tool, okay, and then give that twist like they say to, pops right out. Alright, piece of cake. That is pretty much that. And then basically, once you have this piece, just go put it into your truck, and then so it'll end up looking like the old one did, with this little knob piece that you will have to put this knob piece on if you buy it from Dorman. If you get it from Ford, they do this part for you. Not a big deal. It's easy to pop this out and put it back in. Okay, and then you just make sure that you have your key turned to the just the on position. Okay, just that ACC position, and then just put it in. Done. Reverse the steps, and you're done. Just like that. Okay, so I simply just reversed the steps to put it in there. I reconnected the battery, right? So now I want to put my key in. There we go. Just like that. Now you might freak out, oh my gosh, my key can't come out. That's just because it's new, right? It hasn't been worn down a little bit. So if it doesn't come out, I found that when I turned it forward, turned it back, popped right out, no problem. So yeah, hopefully that was helpful for you guys, and good luck.